Well, thank you very much for joining us. We're very happy today to have Anna Chu, the CEO of Real Living, on our series today. Hi, Anna.
Hi, Janice. Thanks for having me.
Great. Well, just to start off, can you share with all of us a bit more about your organization and what area of care do you do for seniors?
Okay, so RIU actually is an Asian elder care operator. As an operator, of course, we look at two things as well, not just purely senior care, but our senior care focus in the care continuum focuses more on actually retirement living. Retirement living is a lifestyle product. I think, unfortunately, in Asia, a lot of people still think of retirement living and then they end up in an old folks' home, which is what has been in existence for the last few decades, and there's been no innovation in the industry, but we are here to change it. Lifestyle living, fuss-free living, that's what retirement is. And we focus on something else which is very important, which is post-operative care to ensure that people actually recover after a surgery.
So, for our audience out there, what's the difference between a traditional old folks home and the product that you are presenting today?
So a lot of times, I think people do not pay full attention to their seniors until it's too late. Oftentimes, old folks' homes are places where people go to for end-of-life care. And every time you talk about elder care, no one likes the product. They say, oh, don't send me there, right? What is there? So, you question yourself, if you need to recover after a surgery and you say, don't send me to a rehab center. So today I'm sitting here, we converted a block in a 5-star hotel. So really don't send them to a 5-star hotel. Don't send them to what looks like a landed cruise. So I think we got to change a lot of mindsets, and that's why we built this product to present it to the market.
And of course, in line with the theme of our series, what does care leadership mean to you?
I think a lot of times, you look at it, it's I would say a philosophy that a culture that needs to permeate throughout the whole organization. When you come into such an industry, you have no choice, but each of us in the organization needs to be very caring people. We need to have a heart, firstly, to be able to serve and care for seniors. It is really not a business. If you have no heart, I can oftentimes tell you that you won't have the patience to continue on, no matter how good you may think, how lucrative it is. And people will sniff you out. It's very easy to if you have no passion for seniors. And I think really it's more of a culture.
And how would you sum up your care philosophy? How do you explain what you're trying to deliver here to people who have just joined your organization or who are looking to join you?
So it's a bit of a two-prong. Quality of life is what we deliver to clients, and we've always said that whatever products we build, it's built to serve, built to bless, and that goes two ways. So a lot of times care is given by our caregiving team. If I don't care for them, if they don't feel blessed by leadership, they would also not be able to then give good care to my clients. So I think a lot of times as a leader, I need to look at taking care of, the people under me. That's really, really important because we know about caregiver burnout, I think you take a family member and you try to put them as a primary caregiver and they'll say, hey, I'm going to raise a white flag. It's not as easy as we think it is. I think it's the job of a professional. A lot of times people need to recognize that. In Asia, there's a mistake thinking that, I'll hire a maid and a caregiver. They are not the same thing, right? So a lot of training involved. There's a lot of technique, a lot of expertise. You need to, a very good one would be able to observe, even do, certain levels of care that a normal, domestic helper can't do.
And I think it's important also to know that a domestic helper, when they come in, they are there to assist with some of the household work. And to get them to be on the next level, to look after an older person is really different. There's a new set of skills that has to be acquired. But at the same time, sometimes when I notice interacting with seniors and their perception of what a helper should be helping them with, I think it's almost like they want them to do everything for them, which is also the opposite of what we're trying to achieve in the future of senior living facilities. We want to create a nice environment where you enable them to do some of the things, while at the same time you're delivering that good care. So I think that's really important that you shared your care philosophy. Well, you must have interacted with many seniors in the lead up to running Real Living, and right now every day in the life there. Can you tell us, any particular senior's life that has touched you especially, and this senior's life has improved ever since living with Real Living?
They don't even have to live here. Actually, my own mom, I would say it doesn't, fall far from, where the family is. Firstly, you look at family, and my mom is 72, and she is actually a daycare member. This is our clubhouse. So she comes, a few times in the week to participate in activities. And prior to coming here, she had weak knees, just like any other senior, and most of them we know. I've always encouraged her to exercise or do something, go see a physio. And for her, physio exercise is the same thing, painful, don't know where to start, don't know what to do, lazy, very commonplace. And so what happened was, a nice clubhouse like that is a very easy introduction to people coming, having lunch in a hotel setting, getting to know people, doing cognitive games, exercises and all together. And of course, then I signed her up for physiotherapy in our in-house physio center. As a result, and if we track her baseline, she's gone from not being able to walk for prolonged periods, having pain in her knees, to her being able to squat. So one of the videos, I think, in our social media page shows her squatting. There are a lot more examples where people have come from a hospital environment where they have had stroke, and now they are under stroke maintenance, and they need a proper home but with proper care. And so they chose to transfer from a hospital environment over here. And we've seen the improvements. The family members come and they thank us, they tell us it's so different. Even family members feel more comfortable here. So I think you still need to maintain, with the Asian environment, I think we can't dislodge the family ties. That is really, really important. And that's why when we built a space, we also thought about spaces for the family members who are visiting.
So definitely we want to engage everyone to come together. And I think having a community like this really helps to support older people to age well and to, have a better quality of life and health as they progress and as they participate in more activities. So I guess coming from your mom, it's really good, because the hardest thing to do sometimes is to persuade our parents and those closest to us to exercise. And over here, I think she's gotten the opportunity to kind of accidentally engage in some physical health activities. So I think that's great. What are, in your experience here developing Real Living, what are some of the technology implementations that you have put into Real Living that has helped to provide better care or, improve the efficiency of how your staff are managing the community?
Okay, so while our ratios are already quite low at about 1:4, we have our own proprietary call bell system. And what it is actually, it is a beacon system that is built across the whole facility. They can wear it as a lanyard or wear it as a watch. And what this does is, it is also a point of access where it gives you access to certain areas and all that, or it blocks out certain areas so that, even those with dementia are kept safe, right? Or people cannot just walk in, to an area which goes to their rooms and all that. It is also a call bell. This enables us to track which floor they are at, which zone, so the caregivers can attend to them really quickly. So I think that's really helpful. And then the next place that has technology, I think in room, when we're taking care of the AIs that work in room, whatever it's needed for, perhaps for those with higher care, those with mobility issues, and of course, within our in-house physio center as well. We work with our partners, DBC. They have one of the most advanced physio centers in the country with robotics and all that. And that itself, I believe, also gives very good outcomes in terms of recovery.
I think that's excellent approach towards use of technology. So thank you for sharing that. And, we talked about quality of care, quality of life. What does it really mean for your residents? How does it translate into a happier life for them?
Wow, okay, quality of life is so well demonstrated in a place like that. Well, it's a philosophy. It is also quality of life is measured through what our clients would tell us, what they feel, right? Their feedback.
Mm.
And interestingly enough, we were speaking about having a maid at home, and they say, oh, the best place to be is at home. I say, okay, this is what your maid needs to do, and I'll tell you what we do for them here, right? So inside our multipurpose hall, we have a team of program and activity coordinators. That's one team, right?
Yeah.
And then you have the care managers taking care of our clients, their family members, their requests. And then you of course have the nursing and caregiving team. You have our F&B team and the chef. You have our security. You have our maintenance. You have who else? I mean, a whole bunch of people actually dedicated to making their stay here really good. Do you think you would be able to replace that with one maid? So I for sure can tell you that we provide better quality of life here in Rio than at home. So that is the case we are trying to make, and we are trying to educate the market to understand it. Quality of care is what comes from the team that is trained to care for you, right? So I think that is the outcome of what we are focused on, which is to provide quality of life. So each one has their own specialization, and they are supposed to be good in each of them. Like hopefully our 5-star chef is really good at what he does, which is the one that provides food. So they don't even get that at home. I think a lot of times a senior, going through, now it's lunchtime and they're like, okay, what do I eat now? I have to go out and, either tapao, or I can't cook, or the maid only knows how to cook her kind of food, not something I'm used to. So there are a lot of problems associated with, I think quality of care at home, to be honest.
Yeah, so I think definitely you've demonstrated that there are certain advantages to living in a community with access to almost a whole team of people that can deliver it. So I think that's excellent. Well, when we talk on the topic of quality of life and care, I it comes to that area where how do we exactly measure it? And today, data analytics is frequently used to monitor and track progress. But how important would it be to track quality of life and quality of care?
I think it's super important to see what we've achieved against, benchmarks. I think it's so subjective at the same time, but quality of life, I would say a lot of times feedback is very important from, our clients. Quality of life, quality of care. I think you can see that through the program. So, for example, our daycare focuses on, and our activities focus on physical, mental, and cognitive, emotive, and psychosocial. So when you look at these pillars and we start to measure, a lot of it is also through observation. With physical, we work closely with our physio center to actually do a baseline measure. So you can see, those that also a test group that do take physio for strengthening, for mobility and all, and those who come down and do exercises often, I think we are able to track that they actually perform better in quite a few of the outcomes that we've seen. So these are perhaps measurable. Again, like I said, the rest of it sometimes is a lot of observation. How are they emotionally? Are they better? Are they more open? And so we talk to the families to get that 360 feedback as well. Observations of how they are after daycare. Maybe they are more open. They start to be social again, and we've gotten a lot of those kind of feedbacks from families.
Oh, well, it sounds like a very positive environment, and a very happy place to look at it. But we all know that staffing is one of the biggest challenges impacting Asia, and I'm sure in Malaysia there's staffing challenges as well. How do you motivate and develop talent, and to really continue to attract people to work for you?
Well, I think we also need to be a bit innovative in this industry, which has not been innovative for the longest time, right? So one of it, I think, if we just look at normal workplaces in a corporate office, they have gotten to the point where they are actually working out of co-working spaces. There's a reason for that. They make it cool, right? They add who knows, ping pong tables and stuff like that people like, a coffee machine. And so we do the same. We take an environment and we say, how are we to attract the nurses and the caregivers? What if my place looks better significantly than a lot of other places? Would that help? I think the answer is yes. Of course, it would help draw a certain group, but also the exposure the fact that my very experienced head nurse is able to train them on the job, through the constant training that we have as well. It allows them to know that, hey, I'm upskilling. Even for the younger nurses, some of these things you don't learn, and perhaps they want to specialize. Elder care is going to be a very important part, right? Geriatric care and things like that. So I think in a place like that, you are able to see for yourself and learn. And we don't just do the nursing side of it. There's also the activity portion in the daycare. And I think that's another area that a lot of people can learn to be able to develop separately. So I would say extension of skill sets, which is what we offer over here.
Wow, fantastic. And for those who are curious about working for Real Living, what are the three traits that you always look for when you hire a new hire into your organization?
So the first thing we ask them if they love, the seniors. So the care philosophy again, right? That's very, very important. I think also to observe their, ability to understand certain situations. We put them to a test, we put them to a task and see how they respond, see what they think through. And of course, the third thing is a lot of times we ask, people near us to recommend people that have some experience at least, or you kind of know that people say, hey, this person has the heart. So it comes down to having a heart that cares for the seniors. So I think that's more important. Everything else can actually be taught.
Fantastic. Well, our last question to you today is, how would you like to change the future of aging in Asia Pacific?
Wow. I think, we are doing what we're doing to continue doing that. I think to give people quality of life. People really need to rethink this both for their retirement as well as their, post-operative care needs. Quality is something that is just something that money can't buy, but you can deliver it, believe it or not. So I think to see the correct model for how they are supposed to age rather than to be set in their ways and go back to the, residential nursing homes, even for retirement.
Well, fantastic. Well, we had a great discussion today with Anna Chew from Real Living, and we've gone through the insights on care philosophy as well as understanding how can we deliver better quality of life and care for older people. Thank you very much for joining us today, and we look forward to seeing you again. Thank you.
Thank you, Janice.
CarePage Business is the only feedback platform designed for the health and aging sectors. With CarePage Business, you can uncover powerful customer experience insights, monitor resident or client feedback and complaints in a single, easy-to-use platform, and get the insights you need to drive continuous improvement in services and facilities.